Well, hello everybody. Thanks for tuning in to our next Facebook Live talking about our spring Transformotion in a box. So if you've seen some of them before, you know a little bit about this. If not, I'll give you the 411 really quickly. So Transformotion in a box is our subscription innovation in a box. Quarterly, you can get a box of interesting items, specially curated, as well as a workbook that shows you how to use them and turn that into better problem solving for your business. So we're giving some little reveals on what was in the spring box. So today we're going to show you another item that was inside. And today we're going to talk about our book as we get the box out of the way. Thank you. So in the spring Transformotion box, we had MB Pylan's Culturing Creative Workbook. There are a lot of exercises in this book, and it really is meant to be a workbook, as is our Transformotion in a box. So it's not just something that you read and think about, but it's something you read and we want you to do. Hands-on creative problem solving. So today we're going to talk about one of the exercises in the book, and we call it cross-pollination. And some of that happens by accident, but some of that happens because you really work on it and try. And the idea is taking items from one set of thinking and apply them to something else. So maybe something you learn from one industry can go somewhere else and you can discover something new. But there's also other aspects of it too.
So one of the things would be to change some of your own habits so that you can think differently and work differently. But we've got our team here today, and we're just going to give a brief example of how you can put cross-pollination into practice. Okay, so I'm going to go to our whiteboard, and I'm going to read these in case it's not very clear on your screen. But what we're going to think about is cross-pollinating, how ideas can come from anywhere, literally. So here you might have what the problem is that you're working on, and we have our this column labeled places, and maybe we're just going to come up with a bunch of ideas, random at first, and then we'll do a part two, and we're going to do a practical application. So under places we have amusement park, zoo, DMV, and then over here we have people. And for this example, we just had some starter ideas. We have motorcycle gang, nurses, and mascot. And so if we're thinking about anybody can have a great idea. So if we look at this motorcycle gang and we stuck them in an amusement park, what ideas would they bring to making that amusement park even better? So one example, and we set these up so we can generate ideas a little bit more quickly, but we know that motorcycle gangs, one of the positive things they do, maybe gang is the wrong motorcycle groups, one of the positive things they do are fun drives and toy drives for Toys for Tots. So perhaps that can be applied to other kinds of drives. Maybe they're bringing items to an amusement park, or making another kind of a collection that can be of benefit to the amusement park.
Okay, I thought of another idea. Okay. Motorcycle gangs usually have a certain kind of emblem on the jacket or what they wear, and they might even have a certain kind of tattoo. So if you're thinking about how would that be beneficial in an amusement park, well, if it's a really crowded place, sometimes it's easy to get lost from your group. So what if we created some kind of way that when a group arrived and checked in, we gave them all a certain color hat or a certain color something, a flag that they could carry, so that they could easily identify each other if they got separated.
Great idea.
Yeah.
I love that. Mm-hmm. They might also have a handshake or a greeting, and those are things that definitely you want your employees, if you're thinking about amusement park, that they shouldn't appear, even though you might have a lot of seasonal employees, that they should feel like they're definitely part of the gang and have are speaking the language of that brand, of that amusement park. So that might be that they have their special greeting. Maybe they have a special way that they greet each other to build internal culture. So that would be a way from borrowing from this the idea of a motorcycle gang and spinning it into ideas for this amusement park.
And obviously we've seen a lot of things in the headlines lately about airlines where employees have gone wrong and not been customer focused. Maybe some things like this could really help build that internal culture, but also be around what kind of expectations you have, what service levels, how we treat our guests. Do we call them customers or guests? And how we treat each other.
Okay, so next we have the zoo, and over here in our people column we have nurses. So thinking about what nurses bring to the table. What about nurses? They take our vital signs. So maybe a nurse wouldn't be a bad thing to have at the zoo because you've got animals that need care, or you might have patrons that need care. But
sometimes nurses translate what the doctor said. So after the doctor rushes out, people are maybe a little bit confused or they have more questions, and the nurse can be there to explain, answer more questions, take more time, and sometimes do follow-up with the family. So what if a nurse was in the zoo, kind of like she's the one that translates what really should be known about the animals, about their habitat, their health, how they're taken care of, some things, if they're endangered, and he or she could be the one that explains to guests what's really going on behind the scenes with the animals.
Okay. Last we have the DMV over here. It's everybody's favorite place, and under people we have mascot. So I love this idea of a mascot, because if you put a mascot in the middle of the DMV, think what a fun place, what a much more fun place it would be. So maybe the DMV needs a mascot, or maybe you need somebody dressed up in a funny animal suit to inject some fun into the DMV, inject some fun into DMV employees.
Or maybe if the DMV doesn't have budget for their own mascot, they could work with some other groups in town, like the university or some others who do have mascots, and invite them to come. And so there could be some cross-promotional opportunities for the university or somebody else who has that mascot to get in front of people at the DMV and, again, make it fun but not expensive.
Especially if it's a car-related service. That's a fun way to dive right into the market of, well, if you have a car and you can drive it, you're going to need service in some way. And so if your company is, auto-related and sending their mascot down once a month to raise awareness, that's a way to do it.
That's a great idea. Isn't there a muffler shop that has a bear as their mascot?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we could get the muffler bear down there.
I wouldn't mind going to the DMV then. Okay, well now let's move on to a practical application. We work with a lot of financial institutions, so financial related services as well as banks are where we have a lot of experience. So we're always trying to come up with new ideas. So let's just say I'm gonna take this my red marker here. All right, we're going right to the bank, and we need to cross-pollinate. We need some new ideas that are coming from these different places, and maybe and if you're watching, throw out some ideas, and we'll pop them up here on what are some other people we should think about that can cross-pollinate and give us some new ideas in the banking. So, for example, if we were going to take this nurse idea and put a nurse in the bank, or if a nurse were running a bank, how would a nurse run it differently than how we think about banking today? I think, Kristen, you had a thought on that when we were getting set up.
Yeah, so nurses work all around the clock. And so maybe we could think about that and relate it to banks in a way of, what if we came out with customer service that's 24/7 support, so that if a customer has a concern or needs help with something, they'll have a number to call and get assistance right then and there, instead of within the window of the banking hours.
Ooh, and maybe live chat. That would be another way.
Yeah.
If they didn't want to call, but they were looking at their accounts on their phone and they needed help right away. Kind of like ask a nurse, but it would be ask a banker, and they could be right there to help them.
Yeah.
I like that. The other thing, let's think about what about the motorcycle gang? I think there is.
I'm blanking out on that one.
Well, when you think about the idea of people who live the lifestyle of being on the road a lot, they're very mobile. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, we know that a lot of banks are offering mobile banking. Mm-hmm. But what if there was a bank on wheels? Maybe that's a different idea. Maybe there was a way to bring banking to people even more directly.
Well, and maybe if you're a business that takes a lot of cash, like retail, restaurants, some of those, it might be extremely handy if your banker came and picked up that money instead of waiting for you to make the deposit or instead of waiting for the armored car, because wouldn't that be more friendly? And you could do some great marketing for your bank as well, like a roving billboard.
And what if you visit a high school maybe once a month and can get student bankers and give tips and support them in that way?
That's a great idea. I'm still thinking about the nurses at the bank. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
so when we brainstorm, we don't have to stay in a straight line. We can move around a little bit. So I was
Absolutely.
thinking, since nurses take your vital signs, they do a lot of that educating, that nurses in a bank perhaps would help customers do a little assessment of their vital signs of their financial health, and also train them or provide education on some ways that they could maximize the bank services to help them make their lives easier or more efficient. And that could be for retail banking or commercial banking, either one. I think everybody's always looking for those ways to be more efficient and painless.
Definitely.
That's a great idea. The keep in line with that. I'm sure if maybe you already said this, but that if there's certain things like preventive care, it's maybe there's some financial preventive care. Not once you have your assessment, then there's like a step plan to keep you moving forward towards your goals. What about the mascots? Anything on mascots?
Well, you could cross-promote in a bank also, like for instance, if the, back to the muffler and the bear, if that was a bank client, perhaps they could invite that bear to come be at their branch for a certain time and invite children to come in and start some accounts for themselves and meet the bear, or come in and get free hugs.
Maybe they send the mascot along with the mobile banking at the high schools to draw excitement, and because if you have a mascot, students will be wondering what's going on and come check out the little truck.
So the bank has its own mascot.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you could have little mini ones to give away.
Yeah.
If somebody opens an account or refers some business to them, maybe you reward them with a little mini mascot.
And high schoolers love free stuff.
Yes, and college students
Yeah,
as
and
well.
college students.
Hey, we all love free stuff. I love it. We love free stuff. I always think about mascots. They have that really, really big head. So maybe there's this idea about your bank can help you expand your financial thinking, or maybe there's something just a lot more more on a conceptual level about this how mascots are kind of larger than life. And bank people tend to think of their bank as this, when they need it, when you need something, you get there, but you don't really look to them first. And so thinking about ways to make your bank larger than life and more engaging in the same way that a mascot takes it, maybe a tiny animal, and turns it into this gigantic cute thing with a gigantic head.
And also mascots are just super friendly. They're super friendly. They hug you. They give out candy. They always make people smile. Most people anyway. So if you were the type of institution that wanted that friendly, warm feeling for your customers, then how could you emulate that with your people to also kind of be that warm, friendly, always make people smile? That could be part of your brand promise that you adopt internally.
We came up with a bunch of ideas in a short period of time, and also we assigned some of these idea starters. But if you get the book on page 21, like Martha said, it's a workbook. You get to write in it and put all your ideas in it, and we hope you get it good and dirty and well worn. But it shows how you can do this. And then on page 15, it gives you a little bit more of the philosophy behind the cross-pollination idea. So, you can pick up the book, better yet, pick up a subscription to Transformotion.
So just a little bit more about cross-pollination. So today we looked at different people or places and figured out how we could connect them to help build someone's business or come up with better ideas. The other thing you can do is cross-pollinate by not always brainstorming with the same people. So perhaps you want to reach across departments and get some people from HR and operations and marketing together to brainstorm. Or perhaps you make sure, if you're a customer-facing organization, that your people that are helping customers every day are part of that cross-pollination and brainstorming, because they're going to have ideas and experiences that are different than yours. And anytime you can make those new connections with different relationships and put things together differently, you're going to come up with some magical solutions.
So are you ready to order your Transformotion in a box? Go online, www.mbpineland.com/transformotion, and order before June 1st to get the summer box shipment. And also, what do you think about the links of our video? We've had a few Facebook Lives, and we're curious, what do you think is about the right length of video? So leave a comment and let us know.
All right, thanks everybody. Thanks for watching. We hope you got some good ideas that you can use in your business today.
Have a great day.